Hey guys, so I wanted to do a little book review on Nausicaä, Valley of the Wind. I read it as a 2-volume manga. I don't know off the top of my head the name of the creator of Nausicaä, but I believe he's the same person who did Studio Ghibli. But this book or this manga is really, really good. I already filmed this once before, but I did not flip my camera around, so it's just the voice and no image, which I assume that nobody really wants to watch that. But yeah, the book or the manga follows our main character. She struggles a lot in the book. She pretty much comes from this tiny little village that's living kind of a bit on the edge of this forest, and in this world it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic landscape to where the forests are a little bit fighting against people. All of the animals are insect based, so they look very insect based. They're very beetle like. There's also spores that are continuously released in the forest or released around these animals or whenever the animal dies. So pretty much anywhere where nature is, you have these spores that are deadly for humans to breathe in. So she comes from this little village on the outskirts of a forest, and she from the beginning you can tell that she's very much in tune with the world. She's very much in tune with the way that it functions, the way that the wind flows, the way that the plants are growing, the way that the animals are thinking. She has kind of this ability to almost read the animals' minds, which is very, very interesting. Anyways, she is pretty much drafted with little complication into this war, and it kind of follows her and her journey throughout this war to try and heal people and heal the land as well. It's very interesting because it follows the relationship, or at least a relationship between humans and Earth, and humans and humans, which the way that this kind of frames it is it's definitely kind of pointing out all the ways that we can both help each other and hurt each other. It's very, very interesting. I thought this manga was really, really good. When I read it, I blazed through it because I was just so into it. It does start off a little slow though, so if you are interested in reading it, or if that sounds up your alley, just hang in there. I believe it's 100, 150 until it actually starts to get good, which I don't blame them at all for starting off a little slow, because the world building in the manga is amazing. It's very much you don't have any questions that need to be answered for the sake of the plot line. You don't have any blatantly obvious plot holes. It's so seamless that you can definitely immerse yourself into it, which is really, really nice to see. At least for me personally, I haven't experienced that, been able to fully immerse myself in a story since reading books in high school or even middle school, which is young adult books, which but yeah, it was amazing. It followed so many different storylines and so much of her pain that it's you had no choice but to sympathize with her. You had really no choice but to understand her frustrations and what she's feeling, and why this is so difficult for her and why she has to do this, because it's like there is no other option. Like, it's kind of like suffer now and help like the world, or we die. But yeah, it was really, really amazing. I remember when I finished the book, which was like 2 or so months ago, give or take, I, like, as soon as I, like, closed the last page, it, like, definitely left a hole kind of in my chest, which is, like, very good. Sucks in the moment, but that's how you know, like, a book really impacted you. I felt like I, like, really lost something reading it. It was, like, kind of bittersweet knowing how it ends. Yeah, I thought it was just so, like, really, 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 really good. I can't, like, sing enough praise about it. At least, like, from when I read it, I thought it was, like, super interesting, especially because I'm very much into, like, the whole environmentalism, like, thinking about, like, humans' relationship with the earth. That's very much, like, a big part of where my interests lie. So it kind of was right up my alley, with also our main character being, like, so in tune with things and so in tune with, like, the earth and the air and the plants and the animals. It felt, like, very affirming, but it also was, like, frustrating, deeply frustrating at times, because there were so many people in the book, or so many characters in the book, that did not care at all about who they were hurting. They simply wanted, like, goods. They simply just wanted things. They wanted to win, and it was just so frustrating, especially because it's following, like, pretty much, like, a young woman going to war, and it's not really, like, held back. Like, a lot of people die, a lot of, like, brutal deaths that really aren't ever, like, recovered from. It's kind of like, it's definitely seeing her, like, friends and family and all these people who have helped her along the way die right in front of her, and knowing that she has no time to mourn, no time to bury the bodies, no time to, like, do anything, because she's in the middle of war, and, like, people are wanting to kill her because they view her as a threat, because she is, like, this chosen one, which was, you could definitely feel it, and it was very, very intense. There were, like, kind of, like, 3 main storylines that all kind of, like, interconnected with each other, or at least 3 main, like, issues that interconnected with each other, what I thought was really, like, nice to see, because I know that I sometimes get, like, a little irked by storylines that are, like, focusing on these, like, big issues that just kind of follow one issue, and then, like, when it's resolved, and it's like, oh, okay, we're all done. It's like, that's not really how war works. Like, war is, like, very, very terrible, and there is not just one issue to solve. There's, like, so many interconnecting things that, like, don't have a simple solution. That's gonna take, like, a lot of work to be able to recover from any of those things. But yeah, it was really, really good. I personally, like, when I read it, I was around other people, but I think if I read it alone, I probably would have, like, cried a little bit, because I definitely identified with our main character, as you would, and just some of the things she had to go through was, like, so heartbreaking. Like, the small things where it's, like, her, they're not, like, horses, but they are basically, like, animals. They're kind of, like dodo shaped, I guess, but you, like, ride them. I guess, like, slight spoiler, actually. But one of hers, like, ends up pretty much dying while she's on it in the middle of, like, battle, and she just has no time to, like, mourn for it, because she has to, like, save herself. She has to, like, save her people. Like, she has to do what she feels is best for, like, the greater good. And I also liked that there was no, like, guide, I guess, which I thought was really, really interesting, because she, like, throughout the book, she has kind of, like, an internal monologue to where she's not exactly sure if she's doing the right thing, but it feels like it is. So she just, like, that's the best that she can do, is to, like, continue doing it. Which is very, very interesting, especially because a lot of, like, chosen one books, or ones, like, books with, like a chosen group of people or anything like that, it's like you have a guide telling you what to do. You got, like, a story that, like, tells you what to do, or a prophecy that tells you what to do. And this really, like, she had no help, really. Like, she had a lot of people supporting her, who wanted to, like, save her and believed in, like, what she was doing, but she really didn't know what she was doing at all. She didn't know if what she was doing was right. She didn't know if it was, like, going to end up being, like, a horrible decision, like, in future millennia, but she had to do what her heart was telling her, and she had to do what she thought was going to be best for, like, the people around her. So I just thought that was really interesting, having, like, an internal conflict that never really is resolved. It kind of just, like, she has to live with what she has done, like, the bad and the good. Like, she's trying her best, but it's like, who's to say? But yeah, I probably would rate this, like a 9.5 out of 10. I'm, like, hesitant to give it a 10.10 or, like, a 10 out of 10, just because I don't know what is perfect. But if it's not a 10.10 or a 10 out of 10, it is a 9.5 out of 10. Because it was really good. It was amazing. It's, like, 2 volumes. That's how I read it, at least. It's, like, a collection of, like, 2 volumes. And I believe each one has, like, a few hundred pages. But it's a manga, so it goes by a lot faster than you think it would. I borrowed it from a friend. I believe I said that at the beginning. But if not, I believe that it's, like, at Barnes & Noble's, or you can probably get it online. I haven't actually checked, though, so I don't know for sure. But if you guys are interested in reading it, or if you have read it, let me know. And, like, if you are interested and you can find it anywhere, please put down in the comments where you can find it. Like, both for me, because I am very curious on, like, where to find it if I do want to buy it, and for other people if they are interested. I believe it's a little bit on the pricier side, but like I said, haven't looked into it because I was, like, lucky enough to borrow it from a friend. But I think it's, like, I don't know, maybe, like, $60. Yeah, hopefully it's only, like, 40 or something, but but yeah, let me know what you guys think.